So when you're interacting with people records, you'll find that there are some people that have a red dot next to their name, or maybe it's green sometimes, and then people that don't. The difference between a person that has a dot under their picture and not a dot is that those with a dot are actually users. Those are people that can create posts, they can interact with posts, they get information about events when they're posted, and things like that. And also those individuals will have user groups that allow them to see things that get posted that are in the group, that are associated with groups that they belong to. The other people are contacts. Again, these are people that are tracked for attendance purposes, for other purposes. Say people will never interact with the system. They're contact records. You can send email to them. You can engage with them in other ways when you're trying to maybe send out SMS or something like that, or generate reports. And so, say you want to make a person a user. There are a number of ways to do that. One way to make a person a user is to just tell them to go to your login page if you've enabled the ability to do registration, and have them register for an account with their email address, first and last name. The other way to create a user is to go into groups, grab the link associated with the group that you want the person to be a member of initially. Say you have a group called Group Test, and you want people to join that group and to create user accounts so that they can log in and see posts for that group. You'd grab that registration link, you'd send this to them, they'll go to it, they'll register. Now they're users in the system. They'll activate their account. The system will give them emails and things and validation things and make sure they're good to go. It's a self-service way of adding a person to a group. You can also, it's a self-service way of creating a user account. I apologize. The other way you can create users is by going into the contact record, and if an email address is associated with that contact record, you'll have a button at the bottom that says Create User. And it looks like it's letting me do it, even though, let's see what happens. It says, oh, there's no email address. So let's say I put an email address here. All right. Save that person, and then I hit Create User. So what this is going to do, it'll create a user record, inactive. The person will be inactive as a user. The person will they'll get an email, and from that email they'll be able to respond and create their user account and validate their email address and create a password and all that good stuff. So that's another quick way to create a user in the system. Another way to do it is if you're an administrator, and again, all these things have to be done by the administrator, is to go in and click on users and add a new user. Very simple. You click on new user, and this will bring up a screen where you can type in the first name and last name and username you want to give to this person. The username is just the email address. And then you'll specify that they're active or inactive, and then give them a role. And then once they're added, you can start putting them into groups. So that's another way you can create a user. When you do it this way, the person's going to get an email asking them to continue registering their account. And you can also attach a user. What this means is that if you know that a person has an account on another group life site, you can type in their email address here, and they'll instantly be added as a user or whatever role you give them at this site based upon the email address that you provide. Lastly, I'll say that within the group manager, we've talked about this in the group management video, but you can also send out a blanket email to a bunch of contacts that are in a specific group that you've created. Say you have a bunch of deacons and you want all of them to register for an account. You've added them as contact records. You put their email address in there and their phone number, some basic information. What you would do to get all those deacons in the system, go in here, click on Invite to Group, and then click that Send Invitations button, and all those guys will get an email asking them to go in there and process their account and update their information in the system. So those are the multiple ways to create users. And remember, you can assign users to various groups. You can assign users to various groups and to various roles: administrators, check-in, facility managers, account managers, things like that. That's how you create groups and give them roles.